The Earth appears incredibly vast. With countless countries, billions of people, different faiths, and many ideologies, it feels enormous. Yet in reality, the Earth is actually very small, smaller than we can easily imagine. Today, we begin a journey through the immense vastness of the universe. As we travel farther from the Earth and the solar system, our journey will gradually carry us deeper into the past. Together, we will reach the places in the earth and the heavens where this incredible story first began. Along the way, we will discover many places that most of us have perhaps never even imagined. We will explore whether beings that resemble us might exist somewhere else in the universe. During this journey, we will also encounter things that are millions of miles away from us, yet somehow seem to speak our own language. Yes, it truly feels as though they speak our language, because they are part of this remarkable journey we are taking together. Along the way, we will also visit planets that may one day become future homes for humanity. Our journey begins with our very first stop, about 384,000 kilometers away. It is the closest place where human beings have ever landed. It is the Moon. The Moon is Earth's nearest celestial neighbor. It is close enough that a spacecraft can reach it in only 3 or 4 days. Yet the distance is still so great that every planet, along with the Earth and the Moon, could fit comfortably within that gap. As many as 30 Earths could be lined up across that distance. This round world of stone has been one of humanity's most beautiful dreams for countless generations. During childhood, many of us heard stories of an old woman on the Moon quietly spinning thread. But when Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin landed on the Moon on July 20th, 1969, they found no old woman there. The 6 missions that followed also discovered nothing of the kind. In that way, science quietly replaced one of the oldest and most beautiful stories ever told. In Japan, children studied a story in school until the last century. It told of a frail old man wrapped in a blanket as he gathered firewood deep inside a forest. While walking, he noticed movement among the bushes. There, a jackal, a rabbit, and a monkey were happily playing together. An idea came to the old man, and he asked the 3 animals to find him something to eat. Without food, he said, he would surely die. The monkey hurried to a nearby stream and returned with a fish. The lazy jackal caught only a small lizard and placed it before the old man. The rabbit was heartbroken because it could find nothing at all to offer the hungry traveler. Filled with kindness and humility, the rabbit instead offered itself as food. The rabbit said, "Good old man, I found nothing to bring you, so please eat me and satisfy your hunger." With that, the rabbit jumped into the fire. The old man immediately threw aside the blanket as the rabbit leaped into the flames. He quickly rescued the rabbit and revealed that he was not a helpless traveler at all, but Sokka, the god of the heavens. He explained that he had been wandering the forest in disguise to test the kindness of those living on Earth. The story says that Sokka placed the image of the rabbit upon the Moon as a reward for its sacrifice, so that it would remain a symbol of kindness until the end of the world. Stories like this have been shared in many cultures across the world. Even today, some people who never explore beyond the old legends continue to believe them. Many still imagine seeing different faces and shapes on the Moon, depending on what they believe. But what are those shapes really? They are not images at all. In reality, they are vast fields of ancient lava and volcanic ash spread across the Moon's surface. More than 50 years ago, Neil Armstrong's mission brought pieces of that very lava back to Earth. Scientists studied the rocks and discovered evidence that countless volcanoes erupted across the Moon about 3.5 billion years ago. Their lava flowed across thousands of miles before cooling and hardening. From Earth, those ancient lava plains appear as dark patches on the Moon. Scientists named them the Lunar Seas, or Maria. Each one has its own name, including the Sea of Tranquility, the Sea of Crises, and the Sea of Cold. The lighter regions surrounding those dark plains may appear like deserts. In reality, they are layers of ash produced by ancient volcanic eruptions that settled over the hills like snow. When sunlight falls upon that ash, it reflects in every direction, making those regions appear bright. Neil Armstrong happened to land on one of these soft layers of ash. That is why his footprints appeared so deep and so clearly defined. Human beings first walked on the moon more than half a century ago, yet those footprints remain there today. They still appear as though they were made only yesterday. Have you ever wondered why? The answer is simple. The moon has no air, no clouds, and no rain to slowly erase the marks left behind. Because the moon does not have the layer of air and gases that surrounds the Earth. In other words, the moon has no atmosphere. For that reason, a human footprint on the moon could remain untouched for millions or even billions of years. But the real question is whether humanity will still exist in its present form by then. Perhaps evolution will have shaped us into something entirely different. It is also possible that humanity's own aggressive nature may have brought about its end. One thing seems certain. Whether human beings still exist or not, those footprints will remain on the moon for countless ages. But it is not only Neil Armstrong's footprints that will remain there forever. The footprints of 12 more astronauts will also stay preserved. They walked on the moon during the Apollo missions that followed, including Apollo 12, 14, 15, 16, and 17. The moon also carries the marks left behind when astronaut Alan Shepard hit golf balls across its surface. The tracks made by the lunar rovers will remain there for unimaginable lengths of time as well. Yet among all of these marks, one name stands apart. Did you know that someone once wrote the name of a beautiful young girl on the surface of the moon? In stories, lovers often promise to bring the moon and stars to those they love, even though such dreams can never truly come true. But one man made a different promise to his daughter. He promised that he would write her name on the moon. And he kept that promise. That man was Eugene Cernan, commander of the Apollo 17 mission. He spent 3 days on the moon in 1972, and before returning home, he quietly performed a touching act. He knelt down and carefully wrote, "Tracy," the name of his daughter, into the bright lunar dust. It became a gift that could last for ages. It brought him great happiness. Yet it also remained one of his deepest regrets. Until the end of his life, he wished he had taken a photograph of Tracy's name on the moon, even though a camera was with him and the mission was being recorded. Apollo 17 was the final mission that carried Eugene Cernan to the moon. Since then, no human being has set foot there. One of the most breathtaking photographs ever taken of Earth was captured during the journey home from that mission. The first person to walk on the moon, Neil Armstrong, and the last, Eugene Cernan, are both now gone. Yet history may soon take another remarkable turn. Humanity is preparing once again to return to the moon and establish a permanent presence there. Within the next 10 to 15 years, that goal may become a reality. Such a base could open the door to exploring and making use of the moon's valuable resources. That future may still be some years away. But for now, we continue to see only one beautiful face of the moon. Yes, only one side. Have you ever wondered why, throughout countless generations, we have always seen the same side of the moon? Why does every full moon always appear with the same bright features and the same familiar dark markings? The answer is that while the moon travels around the Earth, it also rotates on its own axis. It takes exactly the same amount of time to complete one rotation as it does to orbit the Earth. Because of this perfect timing, the same side of the moon always faces us. This remarkable effect is known as tidal locking. Human curiosity, however, has carried us much farther. We have explored and photographed the hidden side of the moon, known as the far side, many years ago, allowing us to study it in remarkable detail. More recently, a robotic mission from China successfully landed on that distant side of the moon. By the time this story is being shared, it has already carried out a variety of scientific experiments there. Those discoveries may one day help us better understand how both the Earth and the moon were formed. So far, we have learned that the far side of the moon is strikingly beautiful and remarkably bright, because it contains far fewer of the dark lava plains seen on the side facing Earth. If the poets of the past had been able to see this hidden face of the moon, perhaps they would have found even greater inspiration when imagining the beauty of the ones they loved. Perhaps our deep connection with the moon has a scientific origin, because the moon was once part of the Earth itself. Around 4.5 billion years ago, a massive collision with a giant celestial body is believed to have blasted part of the young Earth into space. Over time, that material came together to form the moon. Under the influence of gravity, it began orbiting the larger body, the Earth. Even today, that relationship continues to change as the moon is slowly drifting farther away from us. This process is still taking place. Every year, the moon moves about 3.8 centimeters farther from the Earth. But you may wonder, how do we know that with such precision? Before Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin left the moon to return home, they completed one final task. It became one of the most important scientific experiments ever carried out on the lunar surface. They placed a retroreflector on the moon's dusty ground. It is a special mirror that reflects a laser beam sent from Earth directly back to its source. It works much like shining a light onto a mirror and seeing the beam reflected back toward you. Armstrong and Aldrin were not the only astronauts to place these instruments on the moon. Similar reflectors were installed at other locations during later Apollo missions. They remain there even today, continuing to help scientists measure the exact distance between the Earth and the moon. Thanks to these remarkable instruments, we know that the moon is moving away from us by about 3.8 centimeters each year. If that slow drift continued unchanged for another 50 billion years, the moon would eventually become far too distant to appear as it does today. But there is no need for concern. Long before that could ever happen, our sun will have reached the end of its life, and the Earth itself will no longer exist in the form we know today. By then, our world will have become only a distant memory in the history of the universe. If humanity hopes to survive far beyond that distant future, we may one day need to learn how to live on another world, or perhaps even among the stars themselves. And if we ever reach that future, it will require not only knowledge and technology, but also cooperation, understanding, and peace. After all, love has always been one of humanity's greatest strengths. Now let us continue our journey toward the sun. There is an ancient belief that before the end of the world, the sun will one day rise in the west. Yet, between the Earth and the sun, there is already a place where, in a sense, every day feels like the end of the world. Yes, our journey is leading us to that extraordinary place, where the sun appears to rise in the west each and every day. We will discover the remarkable story behind that destination together in the next chapter of our journey through the universe.